Hello everybody and welcome to the midweek market update from Smack the Markets for the 20th of February. Now, so far this week, the markets have been playing out pretty much as expected. Certainly the key markets that we've been focusing on in the trading room anyhow. Now, that's a welcome for any trader, but especially in the this year, since the markets have been sort of like fairly choppy, and a lot of those markets have been, well, from a higher time frame perspective, very sort of sideways. There's been a complete lack of trends in a large number of markets this year so far. So if we come and have a look at the markets here we focused on Monday, the first one being our favorite Forex market, which is dollar yen. Now we'll come and take a look at this on the weekly chart first of all, because the whole idea of the move this week was to get a retest up here to this 111 level. The market reached it last week. And then retraced off it, and we came back into a technical level. We were looking for another retest of that price point. You can see that the 111 level here is such a key level on this market, and this is the reason for highlighting on the weekly chart, because if the market gets back to that 111 level, it's a key decision point. It's not a point where I would like to be holding the market through. If we look at this on the daily chart, you can see that last week we hit 111, sold off rapidly back into 110-200. 110-200, another distinctive. In fact, it was the next significant point that we had on our charts. Bounced off there pretty much off the nose, and now has rallied on to come just shy of that 111 level again so far. So if we come to the 4-hour time frame, we can see the sort of price action that we've had this week. So the market's bounced off the 110-200. We managed to capture a couple of trades here on dollar yen as this market started to move up. It's now sort of fairly close to the 111 level, and I certainly wouldn't want to be holding sort of positions at risk through that 111 level once the market gets there. So I can class this as a key decision point area. I'd rather wait for the market to decide what it's going to do once it gets there. If it can break above there, then we'll be looking at opportunities above that level for the next leg of the trend, or indeed if the market retraces from there, then we'll start to reassess the market direction. The yen at the moment is and has been consistently weak for a long time, so that's really helping this market move to the long side. Now if we come and have a look at the mini Dow future here, this week so far, the market has hardly moved at all. So really the analysis that we discussed on Monday hasn't changed one bit. The market has still punched through the sort of big key level here that we can see 25,500 there on the weekly. We're looking for again, continued long opportunities on this market, but after some kind of retracement, because the market here being on these higher timeframes, being quite overextended, also hitting a key structure level, very often we would expect that market to sort of come back. Now, on the what's happened this week is the market's just drifted sideways on top of this sort of support level that we can see on the 4-hour time frame, and on the 4-hour and on the 8-hour charts, this market is still sitting now into the moving averages. So it's kind of taking out the overextension on those mid time frames. There is some divergence coming in here on these time frames too, though. So again, we could look for opportunities short for a retracement throughout the remainder of the week, looking for a sort of a pullback before looking for continued long opportunities. However, if this consolidation if the market can't break through this consolidation to the short side, in other words, we can't get that retracement, I would be looking for more long opportunities. Again, change the bias here. If the market can break above this consolidation here on these sort of mid time frames, you can see that here on the 4-hour and the 8-hour time frame. Now, the commodity that we have in focus this week was gold, and if we come and have a look at gold, gold has sort of played out sort of pretty nicely as well. So we were looking here for gold to continue the run up to the long side, and you can see exactly that's played out sort of fairly nicely here too. So we're looking for moves up here towards the 1.340 level. In actual fact, it's sort of just poked its nose above that at the moment. So here on the sort of higher time frames, this market is starting to look a little bit sort of stretched. You know, it is looking a little bit sort of towards the long side. So some sort of retracement back into moving averages here on some of these time frames, these mid time frames, are the sorts of opportunities where I'd look for new opportunities, new value areas to look for positions long again. Even if we start to do some analysis on this market, we can see that, you know, retracements all the way back into 1.320 could be fairly sort of reasonable areas for the market to retrace. Now, this area here, although it's the 61.8% fib level, back in with a support structure too, actually comes back into the moving averages on the daily chart. So a bigger pullback on the daily, we can find some or expect some support through around 1.320. However, if we look at things on a more of a sort of a lower time frame, then we've got other sort of key areas of interest around sort of 1.335, you know, back into the moving averages here on the 4-hour time frame as well. So certainly on this market now, it's been playing out sort of very nicely. The one thing to be aware of for continued longs is that here on the weekly chart, the market is up against a very key structure point here. You can see that now. So it's the move here that we were looking at between 1.300 has now sort of played out. So 1300, I should say, up to the 1350 has now sort of played out. So some sort of retracement before looking at continued longs on this market. So these are some of the key markets that we're focusing on in the trading room this week. This is how they played out so far. I certainly hope it helps, and we look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.